So this is the kind of stuff that we do in trance work. We do a lot of other stuff. One of the things we do is a lot of times, I used to have this real issue. I was at that time maybe 40, and I was kind of like, I had this conversation that a certain type of girl or real young girls wouldn't want to date me. Because I thought, oh yeah, well, I'm not 21. Why should a 21 hang out with me? And I had this, and I told Steve this, and I was like, oh, yeah, these 21-year-olds, they're just stupid. And I said, stop. Shut up. Track it in your body. And then and I did this issue release, and I saw a whole different thing behind it, which I'm not going to go into. But what we also did, he said, look, everything you believe, every limiting belief is an illusion. It's just an illusion. You always have illusions of some sort. My illusion is that every girl I see wants to interact with me in an R-rated way. So he's a pretty blunt guy. He put it a little differently. Anyway, he said, my illusion is she wants to, and just for 30 days, pretend that that's what it is. Just go around, and every girl you see, instead of saying, oh, she would never want to have sex with me, go and say, of course, she wants me. She can't help it. She's a woman. And at first your brain goes, BS, BS, BS. It's not true. I'm just And if you keep doing this, one habit, it takes about 30 days to replace a bad habit with a good one. And if that's your new illusion, you can create magic with it. And the funny thing is what happened after I was done with these 30 days, 20-year-olds would pop up everywhere, and they would be right there. And they said, oh, if you want to go back to this illusion, Orlando, that's fine. No, that's quite all right, Steve. I think I'll stick with this one. So, all right, this is just one of those things you can do. We talked about being a man, being a knight, being what makes you attractive. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly here. I don't know how much time we have, but I'm just going to go into a few key points about mindset or frame, if you will. Qualities of a man. And one of those is to be complete in yourself. That's the number one thing. You don't need anything from anyone. You're just walking through your life, and you are who you are. And as long as you need anything from anyone, particularly women, you won't get it. You're like that little whiny little biatch guy that's just crying for his ice cream. Mommy, but it worked on mom. Well, it won't work on chicks, okay? They see you coming. It won't work. You need to know who you are, and that's where one-itis comes from. By the way, this girl here, to illustrate I've been accused of one-itis. They say, oh, you're out of the game. No, I'm not out of the game. I enjoy talking to all of them. I have fun with it. I flirt. But all of a sudden, I feel no need to prove anything or no need to be. I have this one woman in my life, and it's for the first time in 20 years of being Alfie and just doing all this stuff and thinking I needed more and more and never finding anything. I'm able to connect to one. But what I did to do this, except in addition to working with all this stuff that Steve does and Eric does and I do, I went for a year and a half and didn't date any girl because finally I had peeled so many layers away of this stuff that I was actually feeling my heart for the first time. I felt, okay, this is the 7th layer of the onion. This is the core issue. Now we're getting to the real meat of this. And I worked through this stuff. And for a year I was like, I had this one girl come up to me. She said, you've been an escort, right? And I was like, how do you know? And she said, it takes one to know one. So she just put her hand on my heart. And ever since then, for a year and a half, I could not go near any girls. Could not do it. I was like, whenever any girl came close to me or I was trying to have sex with her, it was like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I just couldn't do it. So I had to say, I'm sorry, I need to rearrange my sock drawer. I'll talk to you later. And I just left. And for a year and a half, I went through this stuff after like being Mr. Pua and going through hundreds of women, literally, that made me just feel even more empty and more empty. I just finally took a break, didn't substitute one relationship with another, and went through a year and a half of just being almost celibate. And that made it possible. I came back as a man, I think. It was like a death, like a shaman, a knight have to face death. We do this in our program, the Magic Male program. We confront you with your fear of death very drastically. It's like an initiation school in Egypt. And I went through one of those. But this was the one thing that no school had prepared me for. And I went through it, and after that, I was all of a sudden able to do this and to be present with a woman. Okay, now